start straight into the point. And for the record, our last speaker will join in an hour. She's speaking at another event, and yeah, she'll be joining us soon. Thank you very much. So, first question, what are the three things that people will start with, like three advices that you can give to people who will start their career in cloud? Maxim, you can start by answering that, please. Just three tips. Yeah.
Okay, it's an interesting question. Let's start like this. First, be always learner. So I personally learn something new from the cloud and maybe from development in general every single day. And by the way, by attending events like this, I also have strong intention to learn something, and no doubt I will learn something from you. And it comes to my second question, not question, but answer, advice. Visit community events like this. So being surrounded by technical mates like our current audience. Some people like more experts in the cloud, some people even less experts in the cloud and development. Still, it's super important to be in that kind of environment. And tip number 3, okay, let it be something like try to start sharing your experience from day one. You learned something, explain someone else what you learned. It works really well for your mind. It makes what you just learn like stay stronger with you after you were able to explain it to someone else. So these are 3 tips from me.
Wow, thank you very much. You can go ahead, Robin. We would like to hear from you too.
Yeah, sure. Let me build on top of what Maxime just mentioned. Um, I want to start with you cannot know everything, and that's perfectly fine. I don't know everything. Maxime doesn't know everything. Probably anybody here in this group at this point doesn't know everything. So, and that's perfectly fine. So just be comfortable being uncomfortable. So don't pressure yourself too much to know everything because it's a never-ending story. Continuous learning just goes on and on. Next one is to make it manageable. So try to become a little bit better every day. So you have like a goal, a big goal. Try to cut it into smaller pieces and just chip away at it every day. And if you fail one day, it's perfectly fine. Just get up next day and do it again. And the last one is a good one. All right, I want to finish it with your career is your responsibility. So there's nobody who's gonna do it for you, not your employer. People around you can help you, but basically, basically it's your responsibility. So own it, I should say.
All right, thank you. I want to come back to the last point that you made. Your career is your responsibility. Well, some people don't actually take the opportunity to learn when they start a new job. You can be, let's say for careers in cloud, there are so many pathways that you can take, so many information. So one of my my bosses told me that if you have difficulties finding your way, then let your job guide you. So what's your take on that?
Well, if you're not touching the areas you want to improve on while you're working your day to day, then it's your responsibility to tackle these things outside of your day to day job, right? So then you have to find time, or you have to create time. And everybody has 24 hours in a day, and it's up to you how you spend these 24 hours. And here, for me, I work like 8 hours a day. But even now, while I'm working with the technologies I want to work with, I wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning. Okay, that's not for everybody, but that's like my schedule. So I wake up at 5. I'll be ready to go at 6, and between 6 and 8 is me time. So that's time that I write something, that I read something, that I study for a particular certification, that I deep dive into a certain technology. And I'll try to do that like 5 days a week, sometimes 4, depending on how much I burn myself out. And after that, I try to relax as much as possible. So at night, I'm not doing anything, so I'll sleep good. And in the weekends, I try to limit the amount of work I'll do. So I'll relax as well, right? Because yeah, your brain is like a muscle, just like any other muscle. So you cannot just keep going and going and going. So balance is key as well. So yeah,
Mm.
that's
Wow. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy spending the Saturday with us instead of relaxing.
absolutely.
You relax?
No. This is also relaxing, right? Just having a nice
Yeah.
casual conversation with like-minded individuals. So no. And after this, I just walked already before the meeting, so I try to balance everything out. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay. Nice. Thank you. Maxime, would you like to add something to it? How would your
First,
company accompany you in your career? How would you advise? What will you advise somebody to do? How would
mm,
the company help them grow?
First, yeah, kudos to Robin. I'm impressed by his day schedule. Definitely, yeah. I'm not a person like this, and yeah. So. But I really want to be a bit more organized myself. Back to your question, Audrey, about your employer. Let's say if your manager, if your company in general is not asking you to learn something every day, or at least with some schedule, then maybe it's not your dream company. And if there is no culture of learning in the company, maybe I'm not saying that you have to like run away for immediately. No, just explore. Maybe you don't see all opportunities there. Maybe it's just a question of discussion with your manager or maybe with your team, how you can, let's say, build this culture. If you started to work and yeah, you always learn something new, then it's the place for you to stay and to bloom on this position. So learning, if we talk about context of your working place, of the company you work for, it's not like one person job. Definitely there should be sort of environment around you which just a minimal requirement is to have some time for learning. If someone says, okay, you work from 8 to 4 and you have to like learn something after on your evening time, on your weekend time, it's definitely not the best situation. Maybe it's even better situation. So learning should be definitely part of your working day. Yeah, this is as simple as that. In Microsoft, we have dedicated hours, even dedicated days for the learning. And if you talk about Microsoft, well, we have lots of required training, so you cannot avoid these trainings, which sometimes are not, let's say, 100% relevant to your immediate job. But if you have a look at larger picture, then you will start understanding, wow, this training, for example, about, I don't know, email security, about how to recognize phishing emails, it's something maybe you do not use every day, right? Spam filters are good these days, but when it comes to you, like suddenly, you have to be ready. Same for, I don't know, trainings about compliancy. In Microsoft, compliancy is very often word. As a large company, we have to do every single small thing in a very proper way. And this is why we have many trainings around this. And it's not about like technicalities, and it's more how you negotiate with people, with customers, with partners. So many trainings, not only technical, I feel that I become first better professional, second just better person after going through this learning. So this is how that works in Microsoft. I hope that more and more companies will nurture culture like this.
Wow. Okay. I see. Thank you very much for your points, because culture is really what drives the company and the people. And if you can grow somewhere, well, anyways, I'm not saying anything about it. The choice is yours. Okay, thank you very much for these great points. We have some few questions. I don't know if Peter is in the call. Peter, are you here? You can just unmute yourself and ask your question. Oh,
Hi guys, can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you. Please go
So
ahead.
my question was, do you remember your first job interview you ever did for a job in the cloud? And if you could travel back in time with what you've learned since, what tips would you give yourself before going into that interview?
Good question. Shall I
Robin, you
shall I
can
have a
go.
go at it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, please.
Peter, nice to see you here, man. By the way. Good question. So, what should have done differently with the knowledge I have right now? I think what makes you stand out is drive, show passion, be driven, be able to talk about what you want, where you want to go. Right? People admire people who are driven, who want to go places. Right? So try to showcase that during an interview, and be fine with not knowing everything, right? And also try not to bullshit during the interview, like, hey, I did this or whatever, because people usually cut right through it. So anything else? Well, if you're looking at a job right now and you want to apply, I think one of the greater tools you can leverage right now is create a GitHub profile and get some projects in there. Like, hey, if I'm going to apply for an Azure cloud engineering job, create a GitHub profile, build some ARM template, or write some ARM templates, create some Terraform code, deploy some infrastructure, and include the link to your GitHub profile on your resume, so people have to have something concrete to look at. So that will be it from my side, I think.
Wow, thank you very much. Good tips. I hope you learning. Maxim, you can go on.
Yes, I remember my first interview for a developer position, since it was many years ago. I'm not sure it was about the cloud these days. Actually, it was end of 90s of the last century. Actually, I'm in the development for more than 20 years. And if I go back to this day, this interview, I could recommend to myself, admit that you are not the smartest person in the room. Otherwise, yes, they wouldn't test you, and also ask more questions about the company itself. because some interviews, they are way more, say, one-directional than could be. I mean, only potential employer asks lots of questions, technical and about the person, but also many questions should go out of you, because when you just see job description, well, it's impossible to learn about, say, inner life of the company, its culture, after all, after these 1 to 3 paragraphs. So yeah, ask, don't be shy to ask questions, and try to spend enough time with your potential manager, because this communication is crucial for your success in this particular company.
Wow, thank you very much for the tips. Peter, I hope you are satisfied with the answers.
Very satisfied, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I have a question though concerning the GitHub and I mean the GitHub repos, the work that you already done. But cloud is not free, as in if you want to have a career in cloud, it's not a free career that you have to invest a little bit. So could you give us some free some advices that would help people build projects in the cloud for free, and to display them and to show them on their GitHub if possible? Oh, you can go ahead, Robin.
All right. Well, first of all, you can create a free Azure account, or yeah, it's called a free Azure account nowadays, like an Azure trial, but it's not really a trial. So, and if you sign up for Azure using this free Azure account, you get like €170, $200 of spending for a month, and you get access to a lot of free tier services. So you're allowed to run certain types of virtual machines, SQL database, and a whole list of other services. So getting into Azure is not, well, in the beginning it's free. Let me say it like that. Of course, you have to take care of your spending. You have to take care of shutting down virtual machines and stuff after you deploy them, because otherwise your spending will be your spending credits will be gone very fast. And GitHub is free, so creating a GitHub profile is free. Working with Git tooling is free. So you can come a long way without spending anything. Eventually, right, if you want to get certified or you want to get a certain training course or whatever, yeah, usually you have to pay a little bit of money for these. But there are also a lot of great free resources out there, like Microsoft Learn has awesome content. John Saville is doing an amazing job on YouTube with Azure master classes and stuff. Pluralsight is free for 6 days. So there are a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't necessarily cost money.
Really good to know. Maxim, you can go ahead. Thank you,
Yeah,
Robin.
yeah. I will build on Robin's answer. Yes, we have Azure free trial account. You receive, if I remember correctly, $200 to spend in 30 days. But after you spend this money, you still have 25 plus services available for you for free. And these services are more than enough actually to start with cloud, to feel how that works for you, and to build demo projects. So in that sense, to start with cloud, you don't have to invest any dollar, any cent. But if we talk about investment of your time, yes, this is where some efforts and investments needed, about learning, about upskilling. So be ready to spend some hours, but not some dollars. And if we talk about ways to learn, yes, Robin mentioned a great resource we have called Microsoft Learn, which is not just the boring documentation of what is this service, this API, or a description of these modules. No, it's we call this learning journeys. and it's from zero to hero in particular technology. And we have lots of these learning journeys split into learning modules, and it all starts when you pick what kind of career you want to build. You want to be just, let's say, general software engineer, or DevOps engineer, or data engineer, and many more options for you. So Microsoft Learn is for self-paced learning. For a bit more structured approach, I recommend Microsoft Virtual Training Days, and here is the link.
On sharing the link, you went off. We can't hear you. You are muted, please.
You're muted.
Oh, yes, I clicked wrong button. Yes, instead of sending link, I clicked the microphone. Yes, so link is there. And it's free. Furthermore, after you attended this virtual training day, you will receive voucher for free certification. So in that sense, again, you can get your cloud skills, you can get your certificate for completely free. If we talk about fundamental knowledge of the cloud, and I strongly recommend every person on this call, and I believe majority of people who are with us today want to start or develop their cloud career, to get at least Azure Fundamentals certification. This is, let's say, your ticket to highway of cloud career. We have the official name and ID of the certification, AZ900. And if you wish to connect your life with Azure Cloud, you have to start with the certification. So my advice: attend one of the training days, and you'll see a schedule. It's European time zones friendly, which I believe works fine for Ghana time zone, so it's convenient for you folks. Attend these trainings, get certification voucher, pass the exam, and it's your fundamentals. And same with artificial intelligence fundamentals and data fundamentals. So yes, this is, I believe, very detailed answer on the question if you need to invest something. Yes, but not money, your time.
Nice, thank you. We like the details. Perfect. Thank you very much. There are more questions in the chat. So Chesko, are you here? Chesko? Okay, no problem. I can just ask for him. So what advice do you have for those beginning the job search process in the cloud? You can go ahead, Maxim.
What kind of advice? First, I believe, folks, we are in a very good situation. I mean, from perspective of job seekers, I see so many open positions, and at least from what I see, number of open positions way larger than number of people available on the job market. So of course that works really good, right? So we can, let's say, be picky in which company we would like to attend. And maybe my main advice will be try to learn more about company you are interested to apply for. Maybe explore via your friends, via your network, what kind of company is that. And yeah, so the very general advice: try to go beyond what's written about the company in the description and about the position. And if this is about position in Microsoft, my personal advice: contact me directly. We'll have a discussion, and it's my pleasure to make reference for you. You have many jobs available on Microsoft, careers.microsoft.com. Didn't check for your area, to be honest, but many jobs are available for remote as remote positions. So yeah, don't be let's say like this. Raise your ambitions. Today is a great day for a great time for cloud developers to place on job of your dream.
Wow, thank you very much. It's good to know that the careers.microsoft.com, is that correct?
Yes, I will find the direct link while maybe Robin wants to add
Yes,
some.
once you will add something to it. Okay, thank you very much, Maxime. Robin, you can go ahead.
Sure, thanks. Great points, Maxime. And I love that you reach out to people to use you as a reference after a conversation. So yeah, man, amazing stuff. Yeah, I would like to add one important thing. Don't let the prerequisites or the requirements scare you, right? Because if you would tick all the boxes, you would have been overqualified. So meaning that if you you be able to check like 50% of the boxes or tick like 50% of the boxes, I think you're fine, right? With the right motivation, the right drive, doing some research, make sure you nail the hard requirements, so to say. Like, hey, if you apply for a cloud engineering job, then you have to have some level of cloud experience, right? Even if that's like AZ900 or something you can showcase on your GitHub or whatever, but you haven't. It's not necessary to be the expert, right? Otherwise, you're not able to learn on the job. And nowadays, there are not that many real experts because it keeps changing and changing and changing. So, yeah, that's
Wow.
what I would like to add.
Thank you very much. I want to come back to the point when you say overqualified. I was always asking myself the question, why so many requirements when you know people can't actually tick all the boxes? Why? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I think that recruiting the right people or writing a good job or vacancy, right? It's not that easy because usually these are written or created by people who are not working with the technology directly, right? They're focused on people. So it depends where you're looking, where you're applying, or where you're searching. Some vacancies are written down better than others. But like 15 plus years of Kubernetes experience, yeah, well, good luck, right? So yeah.
I can
Yeah.
add on that.
Yes.
Folks, we are all people. We all make mistakes, and same with dear HR managers and recruiters. It just easily can happen that they copy pasted wrong paragraph, wrong point. And this should not be a blocker for you. I mean, if you feel that it's really weird requirement for this position, just try to reach out, try to contact. It might be just easily a misunderstanding or mistake. So don't allow this technical mistake to ruin your potential career. I can say for myself, when I applied for the current position in Microsoft, it's about developer relations. Those requirements about, I don't know, 8 or 5 years of experience on the previous role. I had 0 years experience on the formal role like this. I was dev rel person more in my mind rather than on paper. So I did pure development stuff and I did developer relations on my spare time. So my first question to the interviewer was, I don't have the relevant number of years of experience on that position, and the answer was it's fine. Like if you have experience, maybe not in the formal position like that, it's completely fine. And just imagine if I decided, no, if this is a requirement, I will not apply for this. I would not land this job.
Yeah, it's true because I have to be honest, I've been in that position for some time. I was always, oh, I don't qualify, and people are in the tech way years before me. Maybe I shouldn't apply. But then when the job where I currently work, I just applied. That was it. And it all came through, and now I'm working as a software engineer, which is really great. Okay, thank you for these advices. I don't know if we have one question in the chat. Oh no, that's okay. Okay, cool. Okay, yes, Caleb. Caleb, are you here?
Yes, please, I'm
Caleb.
here. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
please. Yes, we
So
can hear you.
I wanted to ask them whether to go into cloud, you need to have knowledge in programming before you venture into cloud. As in having a little bit of knowledge in programming before you can venture into such space. From someone who is coming from an accounting background and wants to go into cloud, do I need to know a little bit about programming before I can go into cloud?
Thank you very much, Caleb. So yes, he comes from an accounting background, and he would like to know if he can venture, if he needs programming knowledge in order to venture into cloud. Maxim, would you take on that?
It's a very relevant question these days. From what I see, like when Corona started and hit hard all the world, many people just either lost their jobs or started to think about changing their career completely towards, let's say, technical career. And it's completely fine. It's very relevant decision, and I believe more and more jobs will become, say, digital in this or that form. And of course, we started a huge motion initiative on reskilling people, on providing some information, some learning resources for people who never touched IT on their life and jobs before, but who want to start career like this. And this program in Microsoft called Global Skilling Initiative. It's running full speed. You'll find lots of resources on corresponding website. I'll find a link in a few minutes when I stop my answer. And it's absolutely relevant desire, idea, and plan. Yes, you can land cloud job without, let's say, strong prerequisites. Just start your learning journey. I'm not saying that you will be accepted for some cloud position immediately. No, you have to invest. You have to invest your time in learning, in trying. All the tools are for you. All resources are available. Trainings are available. Azure free account is available. Just take your career in your hands, act, and you will succeed. No doubts.
Great insight. Thank you very much, Robin. Would you add on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think eventually it's important to get some programming skills, right? And I think Python, for example, is a pretty good place to start because it's easier to learn relatively than other programming languages because of the syntax, and it's readable, and it has a lot of support as well in Azure, as on Windows, as on Linux, as on Mac OS. So it's a pretty great language to start learning how to program, because eventually you're going to need it, right? But I think if you're just getting started, then I think getting some Azure knowledge is more important than the programming skills. But eventually, you'll have to invest some time in getting to learn, programming, like for loops, while loops, if else, all that stuff. But it's getting more and more important, I think.
I can elaborate on that. Actually, if we talk about working in on some position related to cloud in general, it's way wider than just a development. Of course, if you apply for like software engineering position related to the cloud, it's one thing, right? But cloud is way larger than just developing applications for this, and many very experienced cloud professionals, they didn't touch code editor at all. And I'm talking here, for example, about marketeers who work in the cloud. We have awesome people who help us to deliver knowledge about cloud to the audience. And these people definitely, they work in cloud marketing. Same for finance. We have huge departments who also might say that, yes, we support cloud, but we operate with dollars, not lines of the code. If a bit more relevant to still technical positions, we have people who work with infrastructure, and they are more IT professionals in general rather than developers. So maybe they have some very basic skills in programming language, but their main expertise is the knowledge of virtual machines, of networking, of hardware, after all. So it really depends on your, let's say, wish. If you wish to build cloud, it's one direction. If you wish to work with hardware, another. If you wish to be more operations and maybe hardware and networking, this is another way. So do not, let's say, lock yourself in the thought that cloud is about development. It is, but not only.
Wow, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, I would like to welcome Jonah. She's our third speaker. Thank you. Thank you so much for making it. You
Hi
are welcome.
everyone. Yes, nice. I'm never late, but I'm here. I was speaking at about careers in cloud in ulap.org, an organization in the Philippines that offers cloud scholarships. So I was one of the speakers that inspires cloud to those that are interested in scholarships. So it's good to switch between the different same topics. So it's great that you got started, and it's really interesting what you have started talking about. Maxim said that cloud is not just about development. I'm a developer myself, and I completely agree with that. That it's more than just development. It's more.
Wow.
Great to be here. Thank you.
You are welcome. All right. So I don't know. Do you want to add up to what they said? Do you want to add to it?
I can add that just to introduce myself, I'm a software developer here in Sweden at Forefront Consulting, and I do full stack development, front end, back end in C#, and I also do the process of system development in a way that I talk to the users and do the agile teams and scrums. But I also agree with the cloud development is more than just coding. It is about learning system design, architecture, and choosing the right cloud service as well, depending on your business requirements. So that's something that I want to add. I was just here a minute, but that's it. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Great insight here. Oh, okay, so we have more questions in the chat. Peter? Peter, are you here?
I am, yes.
Okay, you can go ahead.
My question was about building up soft skills or non-technical skills, and if you guys have spent time doing that.
Well, Jonah, you can go ahead since you just arrived.
Yeah, like if I rephrase the question, like soft skills, developing soft skills and tech skills, or just soft skills. If I
My,
am,
I was curious about, I mean, we were in a technical group here with technical
yeah,
people, but I feel that
yeah.
often having non-technical skills, communication skills or negotiation skills can be very important. And I wonder if you have spent time evolving those as well.
Yeah, I actually can relate to that because I'm in a type of job that have we call that in Sweden we call it flera hattar, like different hats or different roles, and when talking to when communicating with people, you need to have that soft skills like like communicating with developers, your managers, and business owners, like in a way that you describe the requirements or the functionality or something non-technical to them, so it won't be jargon to them. So it's like a soft skill to learn as well as a developer, that you don't talk jargon to business owners. And also one of the soft skills that I learned is that also trying to understand the other side of the world. I mean, in my side, I think about coding and the code, but the other side of business owners, they also they think differently in their perspective in the business side. So it's also a skill for me, soft skill for me as a developer, to understand the other side, the business requirements. So communication skills is important, as well as sharing the knowledge skills, uh, non-tech or non-coding skills. I hope it helps or it answers.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You can add on to it, Maxim.
Yeah, my current position is developer engagement lead, and it's way more about communication rather than technicalities. In that sense, by the way, it's interesting. So in general, we think about soft skills as about non-technical skills. I mean, it's something in addition to your core skills, right? But I think that the definition is a bit more general. I mean, when we talk about positions where communication skills are core one, then technical skills are becoming soft skills, right? And for example, it works for me. Before joining this position, I was a developer. I spent 20 years in web dev, and during this time, yes, my soft skills were about communication. Now it's vice versa. But regardless of what is soft skills, what is hard skills for you and your current position, definitely, yes. Time investment needed into this area. And if I put my hat of the developer, and if I think about soft skills as communication skills, as I don't know, presentation skills, and influencing skills. We in Microsoft have lots of trainings dedicated to this. Maybe they are not all obligatory, but still many of us spend enough time on learning this side of the story. So my advice: look at this kind of skills, whatever soft skills for your current situation, and invest your time also.
Thank you, Maxim. Would like to hear from you, Robin.
Of course. Let me build on top of that, right? I think empathy is really important nowadays, especially when you're working as a DevOps engineer or in a DevOps team. Myself, I'm a cloud engineer, more focused on infrastructure. Nowadays, I'm programming as well, but it's a different story. And usually, I'm involved in a digital transformation. I'll enter a company, an organization, and we're trying to move them from A to B or from A to Z with a lot of steps in between. And you always have a lot of people who are used to doing the things they used to do them, right? Okay, I'm always usually I do it like this, and now you're telling me to do it differently, or not spending enough time on the people and process part of a digital transformation. So it's really important to develop empathy and to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. Like, hey, what does this mean for them, and why are they responding like they're responding? Because change, eccentric change or incentric change, I think I have it right, I'm not sure. Change from the outside is usually not a recipe for success immediately, right? So you have to somehow find a way to motivate people to follow you on your journey, and that takes a lot of people skills. Not easy, by the way, but
Well, thank you. Really great point. I would
Yes.
like to ask, I heard Maxime mentioning influential skills. This is something new to me, I have to admit. So can you tell us more about how it influences, like the impact of it in your career?
Well, I think intentionally or unintentionally, every human being on the planet is doing some influencing, and it's not only about the job. It's I don't know. For example, when you with your friends discuss which place to go for eating, and someone offers this place, someone offers this place, but you really want to go to this particular place, and you try to find some advantage of going there, and it's influencing, right? If we go to the technical rails, if you're in the team of developers around you and you decide which library to choose for this or that project, and also there are, let's say, advocates of this approach or this library, but you in your mind is sure that this way is better, and you want to express your feelings around this, and sometimes you are it's objective truth that this library framework, whatever, is better. But if you cannot communicate this to your teammates, you failed, right? And maybe project will suffer from this wrong decision just because someone had better influence skills, and it always goes into connection with communication skills, right? So it's like, let's say influencing is maybe subset of your very general communication ones, and if you think about this approach a bit more formal, how to, let's say, develop influencing skills, you'll find lots of resources on that topic, and if you start applying this in your life, you'll see the impact, you'll see the difference. So after attending some trainings, I suddenly realized that, well, I did it before I ever knew the term for this, but it was more like gut feeling. It's more like completely unstructured way. Now I know how that works. I can influence people, and it works also vice versa. I see when people try to influence me, and I'm not saying that you are completely wrong. I try to, let's say, counter influence, and sometimes the discussions are very interesting, but this is literally something we use every day with all people around us, and applying some more structured approach will help both you and the people around you. And of course, I'm not saying here about some, I don't know, NLP practices or whatever. No, it's not on that level at all. It's just about being able to deliver your message in the way that it might convince other people to agree with you. As simple as that.
Wow. Thank you very much. Jonah, would you like to add, please?
Yeah, sure. Influence, it's a powerful word, actually. For me, I'm a developer, and influence is a big word for me, an important word for me, because, we all know that we have a problem in gender diversity in tech. We have a lack of a number of women doing coding. And for me, as a developer, a woman in tech coding, I see the problem in gender equality in tech, and I think that it is something that we need to fix to have that balance in our and sustainability in our future, especially modernization and digitalization. So I'm doing my story in tech. I'm using it to inspire and to influence others as well, not just women to choose a career in tech, but for everyone, all of us, regardless of gender, that we should have that a mindset that we have that balance for our sustainable future. So this is the reason why I'm really talking from the heart. So this is influence. So if you talk by the heart, it doesn't matter. If you speak from the heart, you gain that influence. You can maybe some people will not believe in you, but you spoke from your heart based on your experience, and that's it. Let we go with the flow. Yeah,
Wow,
that's my input.
that was very influential.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you. That's good. Yeah.
Go ahead, Robin, please.
Yeah, yeah, I like the effective manipulation. No, no, joking.
No, not really.
No,
that's
no, no,
Not
that's
no.
at all.
no, it's not. It's just like how people can preserve you, but maybe
Absolutely.
that's not the truth. But you speak freely. Mm.
Yeah, and I'm a big supporter of more women in tech. You know, it's amazing to see more and more women joining tech roles, programming, and all that stuff. Abu, you
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, hi, Jonah. So,
Hi.
yeah. I've been following the conversation, and I've been getting a lot of questions about something that we didn't even touch it. We haven't touched it yet. Is about how do we keep up with learning with cloud changing every day, everything changing every time. How do you keep up?
it's a good one. Shall I just answer this one then?
Yeah,
Yes, all right.
I'm asking everyone here, even
Yeah,
attendees,
yeah,
everybody.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's well, a few things here. The first thing I wanna touch on is like it's a marathon, not a sprint. So allow yourself time to learn new things, right? And as we discussed in the beginning, it's fine to not know everything, right? So these two are really important. And burnout is real. So balance is key. Focus is key. Um, so if you take all that into account and trying to find a rhythm yeah, I think it's a rhythm or like a habit that works for you. Like, hey, I got all these things I want to learn, right? For example, Git, ARM, Terraform, Python. Now we can go on and on and on, right? Docker, Kubernetes, all that stuff. So it's really easy to snow under, so to say, right? So it's really important to use the process of elimination. Like, hey, okay, what is it I'm not going to learn? Okay, push that aside. Okay, I got more focus. What is it that's really important right now? Or I try to focus on one or two technologies at a time, and then just chip away at it. Like spend an hour every day, preferably in the morning, while you're still fresh, right? To just get some studying going, even if it's 30 minutes, right? If you do that 5 days, then you have like 2.5 hours each week. If you continue to do that the whole year, you got like 52 times 2.5 hours of study. So then it becomes manageable. It becomes easier to keep up, right? But especially in the beginning, it's a lot. It's I cannot even comprehend because I'm like what 13 years in this game, and I also grew to where I'm at right now. So sometimes I have a blind spot there. So it can be a lot. Um, yeah, and just break it down, make it small, make it manageable. Otherwise, you'll drown.
Anyone else who want to share their tips?
Yeah, they can go Maxine first.
Oh yes, thanks. I just wanted to say that well, it's not that bad in terms of it's mainly not about some radical changes. It's mainly about adding more and more services, adding more and more abstractions over existing services. Let's say services which are helping to manage current services, which are helping to manage these services. So more and more layers. If you, for example, have a look at containers, then Kubernetes on top of this, then Helm on top of Kubernetes, many things on top of Helm. Yes, it's evolving this way. But if you know the fundamentals, yeah, you are safe. I mean, if you get certification on Azure Fundamentals, well, things in that kind of content will not change for some time at least. So you are safe, and yeah, just find your way. And of course, admit there is it's absolutely impossible to learn to know everything, and there is no need to do this to have knowledge like that. So try to find your specialization and dig into this direction.
Yeah, I can see Hakan want to come in. Hakan? Is Hakan there? Okay, the next person should come in.
Jonah, do you want to add something?
Yeah, Håkon, maybe he's muted, but he raised his hand. But anyway, while we're waiting, I completely agree with Robin and Maxime about what they said in learning and continue. In learning things with our development right now, it's like there are a lot of things to learn in the cloud, different cloud platforms. So I agree that we should specialize and choose and learn to eliminate. And as for me, I'm a developer, so I'm kind of like my world is focused into development. And I find continuous learning and continuous development, learning by doing, is very important to me. And also learning the fundamentals. So I use Microsoft Learn a lot to learn new things about technologies that I'm interested. And also, I think it's also important that we collaborate in our tech communities and also at the same time learn from others, those that are expert already, that we gain knowledge from them, and also to ask right questions. If there are things that confuses us that we're not sure, we should dare ask questions about that so it can help us in our daily jobs, in our daily routines. And I also believe that we should be sharing knowledge because it is important in our future. And I myself, I do what I do. I love what I do because I find that what I do as a developer and developing technologies or applications can make an impact in the future. So our life in Earth is limited. So we know that it's amazing to know that you're doing something great that would be useful in the future, the children that's going to be older in the future. So that's my why I'm doing this. So it's important to know why you're doing what you're doing, why you love what you're doing. So that's my insight about that. I hope
Okay.
you learned something.
Yes, sure. And personally, I love learning, and what motivates me to learn is exam. I'm very big fan of Microsoft exams. I've been doing it for the past 11, 12 years, and I love taking the exams. And I noticed that the developers like you don't like exams. Microsoft exam, you don't like taking the exams. Is it correct?
Microsoft exams? You mean Microsoft certifications?
Yes.
I actually I'm not sure, but I personally been working on my certification. So I've been working on certification to be a 204 to be a Azure Developer Associate. But certifications they are really good on the CV and resume, but but it's not it's what you can solve in your companies or organizations matters actually. So that's my personal opinion. So being certified is very important, but it depends on your professional goals. So, but I'm working on certification, so it's kind of like not true that I don't like it. Our developers don't like it.
Yeah, myself, I've noticed that the developers, they don't really take a certification. Yeah, maybe recently they have started taking Azure certification. But someone with that, you can hear the noise.
Okay, lady, we have a okay, Lady Ruth. Please, can you mute yourself? Okay, thank you very much.
So and what is your advice on that certification? Because I've been telling anyone who is new into the cloud, they say start doing the certification, start learning from Microsoft Learn, from any other learning providers, and you pass your certification. Because I believe in that help you to learn, because you will not have a chance to start working without the certification. I don't know how you think about that.
Maxim?
Yes. First, it's I think it's very relevant thought that certification. It's not something maybe like every exam, right? It's a stress, and I hardly can imagine someone who is saying, "I love to be examined. I love exams." Well, it's not part of our human nature, right? But it's the question of being prepared. If you're prepared, if you feel yourself confident, well, you experience less stress and most likely you will pass the exam successfully. Do not expect that you come to the day of the examination without any single worry about with a completely like stress-free situation. I can say for myself, every single exam, even the simplest one, still I have lots of worries. Will I succeed or not? This is normal, right, folks? Just the question how to make it manageable. And if we talk about Azure Fundamentals, what I can say, if you attend virtual training days, so there are 2 sessions, half day each. So if you let's say carefully go through this content, then if you read corresponding content on Microsoft Learn, if I remember correctly, it's around 8 hours of learning, but maybe it's very, let's say, pessimistic estimation. In reality, maybe you can make it in 5 hours, 4 hours, depending on your personal pace. So after these 2 pieces of content and pieces of training, 90% you will succeed at the exam. As simple as that. So my advice, go through virtual training days, then strengthen your knowledge at Microsoft Learn, and go to the examination fully confident and secure.
Actually, the virtual training days, I've been doing moderation for them, and a lot of time I've been getting a lot of questions about certification. A lot of questions. I'm even surprised. Anytime I'm a moderator for virtual training days, especially about Azure, I always get a lot of questions about exams, concerning exams, and really, I don't know. People are showing interest in exams. And I think, like Sylvester is commenting about that here. I don't know if you can see the comments. It says certification help to build a confidence, and it's true. Is something that myself I really experienced it, because if no certification, I don't think I'm going to be learning everything I've been seeing. But if I want to achieve a certification, I'll follow the exam objectives and be learning a lot of things. Without a certification, I don't really know where to go and where to start Because if you get on Microsoft Pro site or CBT, like any learning platform, there are contents there. You don't even know where to start. It's very, very confusing. You don't even know where to start. I want to start where? Now, that's the question, you see. And always I get someone asking me, where should I start? And I say, follow the Microsoft Learn path, do Azure Fundamental, do Azure Developer or Azure DevOps and those things. Okay, so since you've been doing this thing for long, do you have any tip and a trick for the exam preparation?
Jonah, do you want to add up to what Abu said before you answer this question?
Yeah,
Your hand was
sure.
raised.
Yeah, I was raising my hand because I wanted to add about Maxime's statement about certification. For I myself recently finished Azure Fundamentals skills. I didn't have a plan for that because I've been doing hands-on with Azure. I want to go to the developer associate certification right away, but I went to that virtual training days event, and I actually got the 100% coupon to take the examination. So the experience, and to go back to the to answer the question as well, when I took the AZ 900 certification, it was my first time to do it proctored, and I was prepared. It was an easy exam, but it was kind of, for me, a developer, it was kind of unusual to sit on my computer and I have the live camera watching me, and I cannot touch my face like that. So it's a challenge, just like Maxime. It's every certification has its own, like, you get nervous, like you're preparing for something, but certification is a good way for your career, not just for your personal career, but also at work. Because, for example, in my workplace, we're a Microsoft partner. So if you are an employee with certifications, it also helps your company. And when your company is a Microsoft training partner, you as an employee get the trainings that you need for your cloud skills in Microsoft, for example. So it's a good way to challenge yourself with your skills. Like, if it's not just for a certificate, but also to test, do you really know the fundamentals of Azure? Do you really know the fundamentals of these things? So it's a good one. So that's just what I wanted to add on top of what Maxime said and Abu said.
Thank you very much. Robin, I saw on your profile that you wrote some certifications. Yeah, I checked you out. So how did it go? How did you prepare for them?
Oh yeah, personally, I'm a big fan of certifications. It brought me a lot. Right, I started with Windows Server MCSA 2012, then 2016, and eventually got into Azure and the Azure Administrator. What was it? 70, 50, 33 or 50, whatever. The first Azure Administrator
Oh yeah,
certification.
I remember those exams. We did Microsoft change it, and we brought rule base. We changed that one too. So many exams.
And it really helped me land the roles I had the last couple of years. And what I really like about certifications, what Abu also mentioned, is they lay out. Somebody already thought about structure for you, right? So you just have to sit there and consume. And what Jonah also said, I'm a big fan of doing, right? Start doing. That's the only way to make it click and stick, is what I sometimes say. It's really important to consume and apply at the same time. So what I personally like to do is, when I'm in a course, I just pause the course, I go to the portal, or I go to Visual Studio Code, whatever, and I try to apply what somebody is teaching me. And another one that I started doing recently is relearning or reteaching. So teaching others why you have. So then the learning process becomes differently, because you really have to know what you're talking about. You cannot, because if you teach somebody something, then you have to be right? Otherwise, you're teaching, wrong things to someone else, and that's not good. So, yeah, and it's also, once you're in the whole process of learning for certifications, it's easier to continue. You're on a roll, so to say, right? So I started with some Azure stuff, and then eventually finished it with Azure Architect. But I started with administrator, then went for Azure DevOps, and then went to Azure Architect. But there's so much overlap because these are role-based certifications. So roles can have a lot of overlap. So it's easier to chain them together once you're on your way.
Maxim, are you a developer or you IT pro? Because it looked to me you're a IT pro.
I'm a developer, so before
No,
yeah.
No, I mean, maybe I'm talking about Robin. Robin, right?
Yes.
Are you a developer or IT pro?
Oof. It's a good question, man. Both, I think. I used to be really an IT pro, right? IT consultancy, system administrator. Right. Okay, let's go a little bit back. I started on the help desk as an IT support engineer. Eventually, progressed to service desk manager, but then not just managing, but also solving incidents, helping customers, etc. Eventually, I came to the realization that I also wanted to build things, instead of just solving problems. So I went into an IT consultancy role, and it was all like infrastructure based. So I work with PowerShell. Well, PowerShell is a scripting language. You can also program with it, right? Functional, objective oriented. And recently, in 2019, I started just focusing on Azure alone. So first it was Office 365 on premises and Azure. And at one point I was like, okay, I have to focus more because wanting to know everything about Azure and Office 365 and on-prem is just too much, right? Focus is key. So I had to make a decision. So I decided to leave the rest behind and just focus full time on Azure. And then the whole DevOps practices came into play: CI/CD, versioning, right, repositories, source control, and eventually also ARM templates, of course, Terraform, Python. Recently, last year, I started with doing Python, and because I already was comfortable with PowerShell, it was easier to grasp Python, and learning Python also increased my understanding of PowerShell. So it goes both ways, right? It's just like learning another language. You know, I got Dutch and English, but if I wanted to learn another language, I already know the constructs. Like, hey, wait, this is the same, or this just, oh, it works a little bit differently, but basically it comes down to the same thing. So yeah, nowadays I'm in the middle. I think I can write some software. I'm not a full-blown full stack developer like Jonah, or I probably don't have the developing skills as Maxime, but I can have a conversation around it. I can build some stuff. I can automate my infrastructure, automated testing and all that stuff, but it's a whole different ball game. But I'm comfortable writing code, and it can be declarative infrastructure code. It can be programming certain types of things like APIs or whatever, but it's not that, it's just what I do, right? I like to accumulate knowledge and learn new things all the time. And as soon as I'm comfortable, I'm trying to be uncomfortable, right? So, okay, what can I do to be uncomfortable again? What is it I don't know yet? So yeah, that's just what I do, but that's not everybody likes to invest as much time in all this stuff as I do, right? To the point of Maxime also said, like, hey, it's free to start, but you have to pay with time, right? So
No, I can see that we are doing the same path. Myself, I'm an IT pro, and I'm doing this thing, and I've noticed something. And I know those who were IT developers before Azure craze, cloud craze, they are okay. It's the same thing. But the problem is those who are IT pro, they really don't know. Last year, Microsoft announced no more server certification, and so many confusions for IT pro because we don't really know what is going on. We are forced now to become a developer. Developers that are already comfortable what they are doing is no different from Azure, what Azure is showing, what Microsoft 365 is showing, what Power Platform. But the IT pro, we don't really know where we are going because you are now forced to learn. how to automate, how to build. The same thing. I'm feeling the same thing. I really get a lot of former colleagues. So I say, how, Abu? I'm not a developer. How do I start learning Azure? You see, and it's a very big challenge. And I think some of you used to send that information to Microsoft for us that you IT pros are stranded. We don't really know what to do. We are forced to learn Azure. We are not developer. How are we going to survive in this world?
Start small, man. Just
I think
Jonah,
I
go
think,
ahead.
yeah, I agree. Start small, and we need to collaborate and share more knowledge. I think, for example, Robin, he is like he's been in different roles and took a lot of certification. I don't have a lot of certification, but I am a developer. I code. I like what it is, but I have a passion to learn about architecture and be better, because I think for me, I sit in the details of the function of a code, but for me, it's also important to know everything, the big picture as well. And if you have skills like learning about cloud architecture, system design, it helps you solve problems better. So I think to start with, if an IT pro have a challenge getting started with development, then start small and find a mentor and use the free learning resources that you have available. We have almost everything free online, so everything can be learned. And of course, it takes time. You need to invest time in learning to be able to gain the reward after it. So that's my input, Abu, for what you said.
As for me, I don't have that problem. I'm done with those things. Last week I passed my Azure DevOps exams. I've been doing the exams, so I've been learning. But other people who I started career with them, or those who have experience, I can see some people, they have 15, 20 years experience, IT operation, IT pro. They don't really know where to go with Azure, because I'm not a developer. How do I do? Because Azure is totally different from on-prem. See, it's totally different. And it's very difficult for someone to start spending a lot of hours of learning. And that's the challenge. You are working, you have family, you want to start a new career again. That's confusing, really.
Yeah, I understand. I think if you have a goal, like if there's a quote, like if there's a will, there's a way. So
Yeah.
if you, yeah, that's great. If you really want to learn Azure at the same time, software development, then as Robin said, we need to start small and spend like sprints, like like a small time for that on the side, and make it a routine, because consistency is the key in learning as well. So that's my additional input to that. Maybe Maxime and Robin have something to add.
I personally feel that it's a great time to be IT pro in the cloud. And Abu, you're absolutely right. It's quite different from doing things on premises, and totally different. I don't know, mindset. How you architect your work compared to on-prem, but still there are so many interesting services, so many interesting things to learn, and so many projects to apply your knowledge of IT pro that you will be busy for I don't know how many years in advance. And to continue my narration about you don't need to be a developer to be a cloud professional. It's exactly the case. Of course, knowing basics of coding, of development is a good plus, but in big picture, this kind of job is not about development. And don't think that it's less important or less I don't know, fancy or less profitable. No, it's just different job, and you always find your place in cloud career if you are a good IT professional. That's from my side. And folks, I have to run, so I unfortunately have to leave our friendly conversation. Thank you very, very much for inviting me, Audrey, and thank you very much, dear attendees, for your awesome questions. I hope I helped you in your cloud career. I'm always available. Just find me on Twitter, find me on LinkedIn. I will post links immediately after I leave the call, and let's stay connected and have a great weekend.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
Thank you,
much. And
Maxime.
thank you very much for the badges. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Maxime.
Bye.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting discussion that we are having. And there is one more question in the chat. I don't know if Duncan is in the call. Duncan, are you here? Okay, it may not be here. So the question is, which is the best for career growth in cloud or any IT field? Networking or just taking courses on your own? I think the networking that he's talking about is maybe attending events like this one. Yes, this is what he's talking about. So yeah, I don't know if Jonah, you want to start?
Yeah, I think both are important. Finding time for both, because doing a learning path, or for example, going through a certain learning path in Microsoft Learn, for example, it gives you both the theory and the hands-on, because they have the hands-on in via Sandbox and you can connect with Azure. But at the same time, I also believe in knowledge sharing, and that you also gain knowledge from expertise of others, those who have experience. So doing both and setting time for both of them, I think are important. So that's my
Thank you.
input about that.
Thank you. Robin, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I think professional networking or building relationships are key as well as inside your company as outside your company. Be part of a community. Find these like-minded individuals who strive for the same things you're striving for, right? Who have the same goals. So you have this support system in place. When you fall off the wagon, others can help you back on again, because everybody falls off the wagon from time to time. um, and when I started doing this more actively, I always did this in my career, but last year I really started going beyond my professional or my company and being more part of a community. Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm sitting here right now as well. But it's really important. Yeah, the power of the community is amazing. I think you become even unstoppable if you surround yourself with the right people. And of course, that's not gonna just that you still need to invest time in courses and certifications, just like Jonah said as well, right? They're both important, but don't underestimate the power of community and professional networking, building relationships. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. I think this is really right, because I got my job through connecting. Yeah. So it was a friend who is part of this community who told me about the job. And prior to that, I had met the CEO of the company at a networking session. It was at a Python networking something. I don't remember quite well, 2 years ago. So applying, and I followed him on Twitter, and we started interacting. And yeah, this is really key. They go hand in hand. You can't
Mm.
just be there doing the magic in your room and expect that the job will come to this room and the salary too will come. So just go out there and connect with people. Yeah. So anybody in the audience want to add something to that? Maybe your experience, somebody? I think Duncan needs help. Like he doesn't really know if he should just learn on his own or just also join a community and continue in that sense. So if anyone else has another tip, advice, you can give it.
I have something to. Or there's someone that raised his
Okay,
hand. Ernest, yeah.
Ernest, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, uh, good is afternoon here, so good afternoon to everyone. And I'm
Hi,
glad
Ernest.
I've learned a lot of experience. And in terms of the community, as Robin said, I would like to also add a bit to it. Most of the times, IT pros or a developer in, let's say, uh, a company that is not a partner, you would find challenges in terms of when it comes to the IT pros, because the company as a whole sometimes don't really, I mean, not to say value, but that is not the main business line. You find it difficult in terms of even trying to get more certifications or trying to pursue more, because it's the day business as usual. You being administrator, maybe you just fix some two or three issues and you are done for the day. So sometimes learning becomes really a challenge. So I, for instance, I'm a living testimony to such situation. So after connecting with the community, I realized that yes, I'm abreast with what is going on, and I get motivated anytime I see panelists come in, talks about the future, talks about how good the technology is getting. Then I mean I get excited, and now I can learn easily. So I think one way to really learn easy after job pressure, family, is to get a community. It really boosts your morale to learn. So that's a bit I want to add. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ernest. That was really valuable to us. Thank you. Um, Gideon, you want to add something? Go ahead.
Thanks very much and good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, so I just want to add something small to what Duncan shared with us. And I believe in my personal experience, networking is very key. The reason why I'm saying that is when it comes to qualification, I would say we have about 1,000 plus people who apply to the same role with more, who are more qualified in terms of certification more than you may be. You get it. So the question is, how do you differentiate yourself from this cloud, the multitude, the crowd out there when you apply for such a role? You can only do that by effective networking. In your case, Audrey, like you shared, it was just through a friend, and based on the person's recommendation, you had opportunity to even meet the HC for interview or the HR for an interview. So to get your CV on the interview desk to be called for an interview alone, you need that connection in there. No matter how fancy or how nice your CV looks, no matter the certifications you've achieved, the years of experience you've achieved, if there's no networking, trust me, it's quite difficult because you need to be heard before you be given the opportunity. So how do you create opportunity to be heard in the first place? By networking. So in as much as you think you are qualified, people are more qualified than you are. So create the good atmosphere, get the right connection, and then people can lead you to the right people. And I think from there,
Oh,
based on the skills and yeah, based on
Gideon,
your
we
skills,
couldn't get the
sorry.
last bit.
Yeah. So what I'm
Can you
saying
go
is,
over again? Mhm.
all right, sorry. I think it's my connection. So what I'm saying is there are a lot of people out there who are equally qualified and more are even qualified than you are. So how do you get opportunity to even be called for an interview? You need the connection. So when you know someone who can lead you to the right person, at least that is the time you can go into the interview room or on the call to prove yourself. But if until your CV gets in the right hand, you are going nowhere. You may be qualified, but you go nowhere. So I think yes, in as much as we want to focus on certification and building our skills, we need to spend more time trying to create the good connection around us by attending such forums and connecting with people on LinkedIn and the likes. So I think that is my little experience I want to share.
Wow. Thank you very much. That was not little, trust me. It's going to help me and help the audience massively. Thank you very much for your input. Um, I saw a question in the chat. Okay, before we go to that question, I want to take us back in time a bit, still in this conversation. Don't worry. So I wanted to talk about the soft skills. Who is responsible for this part, like to groom that part in a worker? Because on job descriptions, we will see set of skills that are required, and all that they would say about soft skills is soft skills, good at teamwork. But then how do you know how to communicate when you don't even know your team members, your teammates, the kind of project that you'll be working on? You are just starting the role afresh. So how do you groom these skills, and who is responsible to help you out to groom them? Jonah, you can start.
Oh, interesting question. I think soft skills, it's also a personal responsibility to be better in communication, teamwork, because it's important. It's part of what we do, and also the networking. You cannot create a network if you don't have the soft skills, this teamwork skills. But I think in the company's part, on the company side, I think it should be the responsibility of, for example, HR, or the people that are responsible for the welcoming the person aboard, that that person belongs to, like, feels welcome and knows the important parts in being part of the company or being part of the team. So I think it's important to it's both the responsible personal responsibility, also the a company's responsibility also to create that culture of teamwork, a culture of collaboration, a culture of networking. So, for example, if I'm a new employee and I need help with something like a technology, then it should be natural and a culture that there's within the company, regardless of the role, that you can speak to, like regardless of the role that or department that that other person has, you can connect or reach out to that person without hesitation, because you know that my colleague can help me because he's better or she's better at that. So I think it's both ways. What do Robin has to say about that?
Thank you. Yeah, it's first of all, it's your responsibility. I really like what Gideon just mentioned in the chat, right? I will say you are responsible for your career. No other person can do it better than you, or is going to do it for you. And you need to build soft skills just as you build your tech skills. So just, yeah, you nailed it there. Right? And of course, I think a good employer also invests in his employees as well as technically and softically. No, that's not a word, but the soft skills wise as well. And what Peter says, I feel like groups and communities like these can be super valuable tools for working on your soft skills. Yeah, safe space, yeah, especially that one. You have to have a safe space where you can be yourself, be genuine, because that's what people are looking for, right? They just want to get to know you, and a big part of all this is listening, right? I'm not really good at that. I'm still working on it, but listening is really important. Trying to really listen to what somebody else is saying, think about it, and then respond, and stay positive, right? Always approach everything with a positive mindset, and yeah.
Thank you. Exactly. The growth is really yours to take. It's out there. Go for it. Whether you're in a company or not, whether you started a job or not, just get to know that it goes hands in hands. Yeah. Okay. So we have another question from Fusaini. Are you on the call? Can you just ask it? You can go ahead and ask it. Fusaini, are you here? Okay. If he's not around, I'll just read it. Um, Are there opportunities for hands-on cloud migration projects or digital transformation projects if you have interest, but your current job role doesn't involve that? Did you get the question? Well, oh, okay, he's on the call. You
Yeah,
can
he's here.
ask your question.
Thank you very much. I think you
Okay. Did you hear me, Robin and Jonah? Did you hear me well? Oh, I should read it again. It seems
Can
like,
you? It was
okay,
not so clear for me, but can you please repeat it again, if it's okay?
sure. So, are there opportunities for hands-on cloud migration projects or digital transformation projects if you have interest, but your current job role doesn't involve that?
Thank
That's
you.
the question. You're welcome.
Okay. Robin maybe has the answer for that. I'm still
Robin
thinking.
just said
Yeah, I
ladies
can.
first.
I can answer this one. Well, the short answer is not as much as we would like, right? I think there we miss two. Well, we miss these hands-on, experience-based example projects. Like, hey, I want to be comfortable with migrating virtual machines from an on-premises environment to Azure, for example. Right, and it would definitely help if all of us would find a way to contribute to that more, because that's one of the things, at least as far as my knowledge goes, that's not enough out there. But there's a way to tackle this, of course, because you can spin up like VMs, or you can spin up like a nested virtualization cluster, and so you can recreate some sort of on-prem environment inside Azure, and then just write out a use case or a scenario that you're trying to solve, or try to sit on a chair of the customer, write out something you want to achieve, trying to replicate that scenario, and then just follow along and trying to get the results you're aiming for, and then and try not to deviate from your use case, because sometimes I'll do that as well, right? I try to solve something, it's not working, all right, I'll just change the use case, right? But when you're really working with a real life or a real customer, real scenario, then that's not really possible. So trying to stick to the scenario, try to write it down, and just try to solve it, and then you'll probably run into a few things, and then you really get the experience to do that. And while you do that, try to document it, try to write something about it, blog about it, create a LinkedIn post about it, put the code you write or the story on your GitHub profile, so people can see that you're messing around with it in your own time, and that you get the hands-on experience, because I think that can be really powerful.
Okay,
Very nice.
I want to come in here, and I think Hussein is talking about like a project coming. They consult you, right? Am I correct? Yeah. Hello. Is, yeah. Is it there?
You're talking to me or to who?
Who
Fusaini.
asked Hussein, right?
Yeah. Fusaini, you
Now,
can answer in the chat if your line is breaking.
okay. Because actually, Upwork is been looking for engineers, and they be contacting people, and I don't know if you can reach out to them, because I get a lot of suggestions from friends who come into my inbox and telling me that if they I'm interested to be part of the project, and I've been receiving a lot of them. The same connection thing we've been talking about is the same thing, but it's going to be difficult for people to be introducing you to work on the real life project if you don't have experience. See, I think that is another factor. You have to be known, and maybe you can sometimes offer your services for free because you don't have a project. You haven't done any project. Maybe you can offer to help them to do the project. They don't pay you, so that you build the experience, I think I have a couple of people reaching out to me to be part of the project. Even though I didn't get much money from the project, but it's giving me experience. And if you are willing to take some kind of project like that, maybe I can link you to some of them.
Exactly. It's about connection here. Let's connect. Yeah. Jonah, you want to add something? Thank you very much, Abu, for your input. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really interesting and with great insights from Robin and Abu about migration projects because I personally have been in my previous employer. I've had the responsibility to migrate like a 15-year-old .NET application to Azure, to the cloud. And it was an alone project. So I did the designing the database architecture and doing all the coding myself. And it wasn't an easy experience in a way that the company or the organization that had that goal to move to the cloud were not really prepared to move to the cloud. And I think the key here is that if you're working in a company that's still working on on-premises applications, and you are working as a developer, and you really want to work with cloud developments or migration, if you're also having the challenge, but you have to keep your job because you have to earn money and you have to earn it for a living. But I think one key my advice or one key is that to try to inspire or transform your company's culture into to learn more about the benefits of moving on premises or old applications to the cloud. And slowly, maybe your company will be able to use your skills to develop those applications. And you have your problem solved. You have interesting modern projects to do. So that's just my input because I personally have experienced it. So I thought I would share that you can also make an impact within your company, aside from finding free projects to do or prototypes projects with different use case. You can also try to implant or inject cloud into your employees that are probably not ready. They don't understand what cloud computing is, and maybe they have questions. We don't want to move to the cloud because of security concerns and things. So maybe your skills and certifications, cloud skills, you can share that to your colleagues or your bosses. Maybe it makes a difference after a while. So that's just my input.
Audrey, you're still here?
It froze. Maybe the
Yeah.
internet.
Probably come back.
Yes. We will reconnect.
Can you guys
There
hear
she
me?
is.
I'm
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I can hear you. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So yeah, thank you very much for the insights. Really, really valuable. Thank God we are recording this. We need to go back to this, guys. So we've been talking about how to get started, but then now you are in and you are now working as a cloud engineer somewhere. How do you maintain your career? How do you keep it? How do you maintain it and how do you grow? But let's just start with maintaining it first. Robin?
I think exactly the same way as you were doing to land the role, right? It's all about consistency, keeping it up, keep your knowledge up to date, and try not to be too comfortable. Always try to find a little bit of uncomfortableness somewhere, to just keep challenging yourself, right? Because cloud is here to stay. Cloud is evolving fast, so there's every day I'm trying to learn something new, right? And I've been working in IT for a while. I've been working as a cloud engineer for a while, but there's always something out there that's interesting and that I don't know yet. And also don't be afraid to acknowledge that you don't know something, right? Like, okay, yeah, sorry, I don't know this, but let me get back to you, right? And then you dive into it, and then you come back again. So it's your responsibility. Be consistent and try to. Peter also mentioned it in the chat. Try to become 1% better each day, right? Aim for that one, and then yeah, if you do basic math, then you're like 365% better after a year. Well, that's not gonna happen, but you understand where this is going, right? So
Nice. Thank you very much. Jonah?
Oh, I can add 1% more, so I 101% agree to Robin, because I also believe in the same team to thing to always challenge yourself, continually learn new things, and to never stop learning, because cloud development, cloud technologies, they're fast paced, they're moving all the time, so we need to keep intact Azure with those things. And at the same time, the more we share knowledge in our networks, the more we gain that power. And I believe knowledge is power. So I agree. So I second the motion to Robin, and I think everyone, the viewers also in this call, are also agrees with that.
I totally agree with that. Totally. Thank you very much. Uh, Gideon, would you like to share more? Can you come on air and share with us? We could see that you comment a lot, so we don't mind if you join us up here.
Yeah, I would love to, but my connection is not that good. That is why I'm in the chat room. Yeah,
All
but
right.
what I just want to add is we should learn to love what we do. That is the attitude we need in order to grow in whichever career you find ourselves. Some people are enrolled, they are there because of the money. They don't love what they
Mm.
do. So in the morning when you have to even get to your desk and work, it's like somebody is pushing you to deliver. But if you genuinely love what you do,
yeah,
and you don't really focus on the money aspect, yeah, it's the money that keeps us moving. But if the money is secondary, but the passion for the work is what drives you, then you are eager to learn new technology. You are eager to advance on whatever you are doing. So you realize that you grow unknowingly. That's how I see it. You grow without knowing that you've grown, because when you hear of a new technology in your space, you want to know and invest in it, or try to spend time and understand how it works and all that. But those who don't have the passion for what they are doing, even when you even put the technology in their palm free of charge, they don't want to appreciate or embrace it. That is how that is the call to growing in your role. Yeah, thanks, Audrey.
Yeah, I really, really, really agree
Nice.
on you in that. I can relate. I love what I do. Even though every day I solve problems and I face challenges, because I love what I do. Every time I conquer my challenges, the more I get more passion and learning more and loving what I do. And because I love what I do, I like sharing it and inspiring it to others. So there will be more of us. So really, really good point, Gideon. Thank you for sharing.
yeah, you
Thank
nailed
you
that
very
one.
much. Robin, you want to add?
Nah, well, it's funny though, because I really love what I do, right? And that's part of my drive, my passion. I also do it in the weekends, just like today. I do it in my own time. I really get a lot of energy about when I solve problems, when I do things, when I learn things, whatever, right? That I just forgot about one of the basic ingredients, and that's just loving what you do, and then the rest will follow automatically, right? But then it will become a little bit of effortless, of course. It's part of my hobby, right? And usually I hobby from 9 till 5, from 8 till 4, whatever. Sometimes I don't feel like hobbying today, right? But basically, I have a lot of fun in what I do. So yeah, thank you, Gideon. It's you really nailed that one, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of this. This was really awesome. And 2 hours felt like 30 minutes to me, almost. So, really, thank you very much, Jonah and Robin, for joining us despite all your busy schedule, your fun time, your leisure activities, your family. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gideon, for your strong points. Abu, everyone who participated in the chat and everywhere. I hope everyone is collecting their badges, because that's the surprise that we had for you guys. Microsoft badges. Yeah, I hope you are collecting yours. So yeah, thanks again, and we really look forward to see you in more of our events. Really,
Yes.
really looking forward to that. So
Audrey, I think we need to take a group picture for the attendees.
yes, yeah, let's take a good picture. So if you can on your camera, I don't know, it will be great.
Well, thanks for having me. At least been an awesome conversation with everybody involved.
Yeah.
You know, really happy to be here, and
Hi, Peter.
yeah, happy to join in the future as well.
Yes,
All
same
right.
here. Very glad to be here, and I'm very happy and inspired to see all of you. Nice to meet new friends, my new network.
Your
It's
new
been a
network,
great
exactly.
session. Thank you
Yes, really
to all
great.
the organizers. It's been a great session. Thank you to our
Thank you.
presenters. You've been wonderful. Jonah, I admire you.
Yeah, thank you. Feel free to connect with me if you want to chat.
Hey, ladies, stop that. We don't like that. That is the discrimination.
Yes, you do. You like it. You are an advocate for
No,
women in tech.
yeah,
You
we,
do.
we, we don't like that. They are going to conquer us, the ladies.
We are here
Yeah.
to stay. Okay.
Okay.
So
Thank
I'm
you,
about to take the
everyone.
picture. So
Yeah.
everyone cheers something.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So that, yes,
Thank you. Thank you very much, and see you around for the next event. Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.